Very good evening to you, and a very warm welcome to Scottie McClue, podcasting live on YouTube just for you. Dinky-Doo, welcome, I say. Great to have you with us. And of course, we are live streaming big time for 2 hours. 2 hours of superb, scintillating information, education, and entertainment on YouTube just for you, Dinky-Doo. So I hope you'll come and join us, and that you'll also tell the rest of YouTube, tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10 about Scottie McClue live on YouTube just for you. Good evening. Good evening, Gordon Robertson. Lovely to have you with us, and a warm welcome to Scottie McClue's 8th podcast. It should say that. Does it say 8 on it? Because it absolutely should. And if it doesn't, we'll need to change it. So do let me know. Now, what is happening here? Good evening, Scottie, says Lee Fly. Hello, Lee Fly. Dinky-Doo, Scottie, how are you? Says the wonderful J-Dog. Evening, Scottie, welcome. Everybody, welcome. Lovely to have you with us. Evening, Scottie, says Ian. Welcome, Ian. Great to have you with us. And of course, we are ready to do business on our podcast for this evening. Top of the evening to you, says the wonderful Jamie Est. And you've liked it. Thank you, J-Dog. Everybody watching, get liking right away. Like the stream and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and tap the bell so that you'll get notifications that Scottie McClue is live. Also follow me on Twitter at Scottie McClue. Very, very important. What else have we got here? The Watery Leaf. It's me, myself, and I, Scottie Watery Leaf. It's always lovely to have you, yourself, and I. When people see you, Watery Leaf, do they go, oh, it's yourself? I've always wondered about that. I do like it. Whilst looking for you a few minutes ago, I ended up with, and he mentions, another broadcaster. So there we are. Dinky-Doo, good evening to you, says Kevin. Kevin Snedden, welcome. Lovely to have you with us. And Dinky-Doo to you, of course. Tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10. Get sharing, guys, as soon as possible. Share, share, share. Very, very important. So there we are. Show is yet. Bobby, yes, Bobby will be coming on, Viperian. So there you are. Very nice. So excellent stuff. Hello, Scottie. How are you tonight? Says Kareem. Hey, Scottie, says the Rocky Raccoon. Lovely to have you with us. Hello, Scottie. You're looking good and healthy tonight, says Kareem. I thank you, Kareem. Bless you. Can everybody like, please? Lots of likes as soon as possible. Hello, Scotland. Dinky-Doo. Hello, Dinky-Doo. Hello, Scottie, says Viperian. Hello, Viperian. Very nice to have you on with us. What's up, says Dylan. Nothing's up. I saw your tweet. How come you mentioned various football teams and not my team, Motherwell FC? I shall try and squeeze that one in for you, Gordon. Is that you in the background, Scottie? There? Yes, that's me in the background. Oh, yes. I can just see that there. Fantastic stuff. Lovely to have you with us, folks, and a very, very warm welcome. We are busy. The word is getting out there, but it's still very, very slow. So if you can do your best to tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10, share everything you see with Scottie McClue on it. And remember, we are all plus here. Positives all the time. Very handsome. I thank you, Viperian. Very kind of you to say so. So there you are. Lots of you arriving. Welcome, 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 I say. We are on Super Chat, and I've realized that I can see it as well. How amazing, because I've got all the devices here. Dinky-Doo, says Dylan Rock. Dinky-Doo, Dylan. Lovely to have you with us. Guys, can we all start sharing ASAP? I think that is important. And just let everybody know that we are on live. I've shared to all my buddies, says Bukaji. Bukaji, I thank you very, very much indeed. So there we are. Dinky-Doo, says Dylan. Dylan Rock, lovely to have you with us. And a very warm welcome. Now, guys, the time will pass in a flash, so don't waste a second. We're talking tonight, what is wealth about? What would you suggest wealth is about. Good to see you, Scotty, says the wonderful Adam Shaw. And you, Adam, lovely to have you with us, and welcome to the YouTube stream, to our podcast for tonight. James Bauer, good evening, sir. I've sent you a private message. I thank you, James. I shall have a look at that. Remember, I'm not on Messenger, although I can find things. Viperian, I don't think you've quite got the message here. We don't do any of that stuff. We don't put up rude words. We don't cheek up to Scotty, or we get a lifetime ban. Now, I'll take that down, and you are on a warning because you obviously haven't got it. I don't know what kind of social media you're used to, but we just don't deal like that. We are mature, grown-up, sensible, intelligent, highly intelligent people. So there we are. Wealth is about prostitution. No, Viperian, wealth is not about prostitution. Shared, Scotty, wealth can have many meanings. I think it is each to their own. I think so. Well, I have always said I am probably the richest man in the world, Kareem. I just don't have any money. So there we are. Although everybody bought me a hot chocolate last night, thank you for that. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. But what is wealth? I believe the only true wealth is life. That's what I think. The only true wealth is life. So Viperian, have a wee think about your future on Scottie McClue's YouTube podcast. There we are. There's no harm done. Lots of dafties have made the mistake of coming on and thinking, is this just social media where you misbehave? No, 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 no. This is different to anything you will get anywhere online or on social media. This is Scottie McClue. There's only one of me. All right? Excellent stuff. The best wealth is good health, says James Hasty. If you haven't got that, then nothing else is good. I know, James. I don't want to, make light, because I know what a difficult time you've had recently, family-wise, but I had a bad back last week. I had a very good back, because it's the only back I've got. It's like when people say, where's Willie? You say, oh, he had to go home with his back, You say, well, he couldn't go home without it, could he? That sort of idea. But no, I had a bad back last week, and it can be quite debilitating. It's very interesting. And I thought, I wouldn't like this all the time. The best wealth, good health. So there we are. Excellent, James Hasty. Quality stuff. Now, guys, let's get sharing and let everybody know that we are on and that we have started. We have started. So we will finish. Fantastic. Right, there we are. Just sharing that around, guys. If you can all do the same, share, because otherwise we don't get the numbers up, and we want everybody on YouTube to come and join Scottie McClue. This is a go-to place during lockdown. So it's big, big stuff. Are you using a green screen for the background, Scotty? No. Viperian, at your age, says Dylan Rock. Absolutely. At your age, not your shoe size. Right. I'm just going to share this, folks. So off we jolly well go. And I'll share it on YouTube first. And then just let everybody know that you can come and join us. Big style. Okay. At Scottie McClue. There we are. And if you see this on YouTube, guys, share it. I think that's important. Wonderful. You can do the same. There we go. We'll just let that go. And right. That's that gone up. So that's it posted onto YouTube. So you'll see that on the YouTube channel. What have we got here? Yes, says Dylan Rock. You look awfully hot, Scotty. A nice cold drink. I have the aqua here, James, but thank you very much. Oh, it's lovely. Scotty, have you seen the vids on Facebook? The queues to a fast food burger place. It's mental. People are going crazy for it. I see it, Kareem, but to be honest with you, I don't understand why. I actually don't, but there it goes. But we can't mention the name, course, very, very important that we don't do that. Right, I'm sharing. Are the rest of you doing the same? Share, share, share. Share, share, share. I'll share it on my LinkedIn. I've got 10,000 beautiful people there. Just been posting a link all around the internet. Gordon Robertson, you're very good. Viperian, I've just said to you, you don't mention names, all right? Don't mention names of businesses, okay? It's not what we do. I'm getting a little bit fed up. Fast food, Viperian, better. You know, but you've got to be careful. We always get a new person and they think, oh, I'll just get stuck in here and do my usual nonsense. Not happening. Sorry, Scotty, got to dash for my din-dins. Lovely seafood pasta tonight. Au revoir. J-Dog, enjoy. Oui, your glorious repast. Au revoir for now. All right? Pour le moment. So there we are. And the aforementioned fast food establishment is my favourite place in the whole wide world, says Jamie Est. Apart from watching Scottie McClue on YouTube, Jamie, of course. You know, we've got to remember that. Always got to qualify it, haven't you? Very, very important. Right. Hope you had a good day. I went to a certain place in Blantyre. More plants. The garden is like the Breach Grove garden. My good lady loves her gardening. I am delighted, James Bauer, to hear this. Dinky-Doo, Ian Quinn, says Ian 429. Ian 429, lovely to have you with us, and welcome. Just going to send this round right now, guys. So this has gone on to, whoa, I'll just put some hashtags here. This is great stuff. Right. Oh, yes. Yes. Wonderful. Yes. This is fantastic. Wow. Right. I'm just going to put that. And that's gone up onto the LinkedIn, so that should let people know. Viperian, you wait till I see you making Scotty mad, says the wonderful Dylan Rock. Keep Viperian in check, Dylan, and explain to them that we behave on here because it's what we like doing. So it's totally different to other social media where a half-witted idiot just goes on and ruins everything for people. That's not what we do on here. Evening, Gordon, says Kareem. How lovely. Dinky-Doo, Ian Q, says Lee Fly. Spider, says Dr. Teletubby. Dinky-Doo, 429, says Ian Quinn. Wonderful man. Not on, boy, says Dylan. Quite right, Dylan. You tell him. Hi, Scotty. Glad to see you, says Catherine Raven. Catherine, lovely to have you with us. Welcome. I say, there's so much sharing going on here. This is just crazy. It's wonderful. Right. Spider, says Dr. Teletubby. OMG, Spider. Leafy Dinky-Doo, says Ian Quinn. Lovely to have you with us, Ian. And welcome. Look at you, soldier. So there we are. That's where I live, says Catherine Raven. Dylan Rock, who are you? I do not know you. Viperian, watch and learn. There's a huge spider. Good evening, Scotty. Dinky-Doo. Subject, Albert Harbour. I think it was opened around the time my grandfather, the municipal buildings in Greenock were opened on the same day my grandfather was born. I think it was August 1881. There we are. McTudders, welcome. Hello, Kareem. How are you this evening? Says the wonderful Gordon Robertson. Just sharing, Scotty. I'll be back, says Catherine. Catherine, much appreciated. And Dinky-Doo. Share and share. Lord Dugong, lovely to have you with us. Don't worry, I'll put him in his place, Scotty. Thank you, Dylan, much appreciated. Your earliest memory of Albert Harbour. Walking down when I was about 3 on my reins. 2? Would it be 2 reins? Do you remember reins that an adult hung on to and they were strapped around your chest? I just got rid of mine last week, and people could take you for a walk And if you fell over, they could grab them and pull you back up and all sorts of things. Anyway, don't quite know if that was how it worked, but I can remember it. I can remember being on my range and my grandfather took me to the Albert Harbour. So that would be about 1958. 57, 58. Can we have lots of likes, please? Like. Bottom left, click on it, like, and everybody subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Scottie McClue. There we go. Wealth is your ability to appreciate what you have. Some people can have enormous magnitude, be continuously bereft. This is Ian429. This is great. Be continuously bereft as they only ever want more. You can gain more from giving than from greed. Well, you'll never really gain anything from greed because you'll never be able to satisfy yourself. So that's the problem. You've got to ask, why do you need the money? And what are you going to do about it? Because as someone said, the problem we have nowadays is people borrowing money they do not have to buy things they do not need to try and impress people they do not like. Think about it. It's true, it's absolutely true. Who has just clicked the dollar sign and given me some pennies? Thank you. I will find out who you are. So there we are. I'll find out very shortly. Cyber Starfish is on. Dr. Teletubby is on. Evening, Scottie, from the Impressionist. Evening, Impressionist. Lovely to have you with us. And Dinky-Doo. Betty McIver says, hi, I watched Les Dawson Part 1 last night. Second part tonight. His piano playing is brilliant. Dinky-Doo, you've got to be a superb pianist to play as badly as that. I'm not a patch on Les Dawson, but I can play quite badly. So you are. Thank you, Scottie, says Catherine. Not at all, Catherine. Thank you. It's lovely to have the whole family here. Everyone. When I say family, I mean our YouTube family, our worldwide family, our universal family. Lovely to have you all with us. I thank you. Lord Dugong, well, Gordon, thank you, says Kareem. Fantastic. Who's giving me pennies here, for goodness sake? Somebody's clicked the dollar sign. I'll find out. I need to get Dinky-Doo T-shirts made. What do you think of that one? So there we are. Well, I was talking to somebody today because I was invited, James, by YouTube to say, if you want to provide a service and, people can give you the money. And I was talking to a friend of mine. He said, don't go down that route, he said, because it's lovely what you do. And you don't want somebody thinking that you're begging for money, because we're not. Scottie McClue is free at the point of distribution. So there we are. It's fantastic. If somebody wants to buy me a hot chocolate, great. If somebody wants to click the dollar sign, great. But that's not why we're here. That's up to you and your generosity, your kindness, your giving nature. I love that. But I will accept applause or derision on my merits. And I just love having you all on here. Hi, Kareem, says Catherine. I liked, says Dr. Teletubby. Yes, can everybody like? Click the wee like thumbs up there, guys. And also, can everybody subscribe to Scottie's YouTube channel? I need to get these numbers up. And I want them up. That's what it's about, because then we get a top show all the time. Will do, says Dr. Teletubby. McToders, I like to. Thank you, McToders. Big fan, says Dr. Teletubby. I thank you, Dr. Teletubby. Les Dawson was a regular at Bournemouth Pier Theatre. He loved watching the Waverley thumping in, often dressed up as Ada. What a man, yes. Roy Barraclough, who was Alec Gilroy in Coronation Street. and Les. Roy was Sissy, and Les was Ada. Is that right? Sissy and Ada. And I can also remember there was a sculpture. They were sitting in a museum having their sandwiches. And there was a sculpture there of a guy, and you could just see it from the back, and they were ostensibly looking at the front. And he said, I wonder who sculpted that? And Sissy says, well, it wasn't short of clay. Fantastic. So there you are. So Dr. Teletubby, no, we don't say things. We don't give Scotty orders. Say this and do that and do. We don't do that. We just enjoy ourselves. Numbers going up. Scotty looking good. We have a wee increase. Gordon Robertson, it's you naughty, naughty, naughty boy, giving me £3.99. Very, very kind, Gordon. Quite seriously. Very, very good of you and very much appreciated. I thank you, you know, but I don't want people feeling they have to. If you like to, beautiful. Dono, Poggers, an abundance of valuable possessions or money is wealth. 2, a plentiful supply of a particularly desirable thing. Would you agree, Scotty? Well, a desirable thing could be kindness. I had a lovely grandmother whose nickname was Lady Bountiful, because whenever she did a baking, she had 5 children and my grandfather to look after. And when she did a baking, she would go round with a few scones to the older people in the village and make sure they had a wee bit baking in. Fantastic. One of Granny's scones. That's your hot chocolate sorted for tonight. It's not half, Gordon Robertson. Very, very kind of you. Thank you. So there you are. Bless you. Time for a cold beer, Scotty. Ooh, James Hasty. I don't take it nowadays, but of course I understand if you'd like. I remember an uncle I had, and I said, do you like to drink, Uncle Willie? And he said, just a cool lager on a hot day. That was all he took. A cool lager on a hot day. I think he maybe took a wee dram of whiskey. Pinga champ, says Lord Dugong. So true. Some nonsense. No room for that. Carry on these days. Important things to do. Yes, we've got lots to talk about, Catherine. So I haven't time to sort of police some youngsters that think, let's go on and act up. It's not what we do. We become part of it. We enjoy. Yes, this is about you. This is about fun, laughter, pleasure, interesting chat, information, education, entertainment for the human race. I want this stream to be a go-to place during lockdown. Comfort break time. Squeeze me. Woo! Oh, a wee comfort break. That's better. Lovely, 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 lovely. Don't worry, it does get washed. It'll make my day, says Dr. Teletubby. So wonderful stuff. Now, what do we got here? Many stars of stage and screen love the Waverley. Timothy West and Prunella Scales. Yes, I love that pair. I follow them on their canal boating trips, and I saw them on the Vic 32 with Nick, Highland Steamboat Holidays. Fantastic. Many stars, stage and screen love the Waverley. Timothy West and Prunella Scales are patrons of the Paddle Steamer Preservation Society. James Hasty, stop. Thank you so much, James. Very, very kind and very, very generous. But please, hang on to your pennies. Wonderful, but thank you. That's the hot chocolate sorted for 2 nights. Pog. So there we are. McToda's Teletubby. They're talking to each other. TY for Dono. Hello, Catherine, says Kareem. Kareem's having a chat to Catherine. Lovely, lovely. More important things to do with money these days. We need to be charitable. Dinky-Doo T-shirts and a ringtone, Scotty. I'd love to see that in the App Store. Funnily enough, I was thinking about a Scottie McClue ringtone. I shall tell you for why. I was in my place of work one day, and one of the security guys came up, and he said, Scottie, I recognised you as soon as you came in. Could you do me a wee favour? So I said, well, if I can. He said, would you leave a message on the wife's answer phone? So I said, yes. So I went into full McClue rant, and I said, here, I hope you're getting the high dusting done, and that your man's tea will be ready for him tonight. Something tasty in the oven. Left all this. He was in fits of laughter, right? So she got this in her answer phone, and apparently she hooted and hooted with laughter. Where did you get that? You did not meet him. It's him. All that stuff, right? So he managed to convince her that he was working with Scottie McClue. Anyway, the next thing, senior members of the management were coming up and saying, I heard what you did for George yesterday. Could you do one for me? So I was leaving things with their partners' answer phones. Hello, Dinky-Doo. Scottie McClue here. Somebody said it'd be wonderful to have that as a ringtone. Hello, Dinky-Doo. It's me, Scottie McClue. So there we are. Which local man accompanied Captain Scott on his ill-fated expedition to the Antarctic? Now, Jamie S., you need to qualify what you mean by local man, because this is a national and international podcast. So a local man. Now, if you can tell me where you're talking about, Jamie S., then, we shall see what's what. Good evening, Gordon and Betty McIver, says the wonderful Ian Quinn. More likes, please, guys. And if you haven't subscribed to Scottie McClue's YouTube channel, please subscribe now, tap the bell, and also follow me on Twitter at Scottie McClue. Follow me on TikTok at Scottie McClue. So there you go. Follow me on Instagram, Scottie McClue1. YouTube, youtube.com/user/Scottie McClue1. So there we are. If anybody ever wanted to put anything in PayPal, paypal.me/Scottie McClue. It's as simple as that. It's not rocket science. As I said when I was interviewed for NASA. Best show about, says James Bauer. I thank you, James. Very, very kind of you. I think this would go very well on the telly at night. I can tell you that for nothing. As there are, you always learn something new with McClue. Catherine, you do. If I can't tell you, somebody else will know. And that's why I want as many people as possible watching the podcasts, the live streaming. Dinky-Doo to Dr. Eisen Quinn. They were a fantastic duo, amazing at their craft. Who are you talking about there, James? Nice one, Gordon. Wonderful. She sounds lovely. This is Catherine. See that harness thing you were talking about? I've got a friend who really likes to wear a black leather one of them. Gordon Robertson, you move in a far more interesting way than the rest of us. I can tell you that for nothing. If you just joined us, folks, and you're wondering what on earth is going on, you're watching Scottie McClue. And we're live on YouTube just for you, Dinky-Doo, with our podcast, which will be uploaded later for your education, edification, enjoyment, and delight. So there we are. It's the same as me when you smell the pub when you walk by after a long walk. I like to sometimes, I know that smell coming out the pub of beer and stuff. I had a friend that used to do that. He would come in at night, and he would sit, and I would say, how you doing? How's your evening? He'd go, I'm fine. And then he would let the dog out, stuff like that. Then he'd come and there'd be some nonsense on the telly that we're just watching because it was on. And after about a minute, he would sit, he'd go. And I said, what's wrong with you? Come on. and off we'd go to the pub. I have a little lager and lime on a hot day. Catherine Raven, absolutely. Don't overdo it now. That's all I'd say. Ian Quinn says, early Clyde steamer's notes written on the back of a threepenny jotter. Was it a threepenny jotter with nae batter? So there you go. So that's it. I got that from a line from Parahandy, actually. You know, and I'll tell you what the line was. It was an exchange between Captain Parahandy, Peter McFarlane, and who was played by Roddy McMillan, and Dan Grieve, the engineer of the Vital Spark, played by, Dan McPhail, the engineer. So it was between Captain Parahandy and Dan McPhail, the engineer, played by Johnny Grieve, of course, and wonderful actor. And he says to him, he says, McPhail, away, get the engines going. Anything if you'll come back, it'll be insubordination. And you'll go in the ship's log. And he says, ship's log? A threepenny jotter in a batter. Ship's log. There we are. So it's wonderful. Early Clyde steamer's notes written at the back. Thanks, Kareem. Kareem Zachariah. Now that is just generous, but stop. Stop now, Kareem. Kareem has just given Scottie McClue £5. Thank you, Kareem. Keep up the good work, he says. Stop, Kareem. I'm very, very humbled. Very generous man. Hang on to your pennies. Scott says, I've sent you a message on Skype to say who I am. So put me on your trust list. I have Skype here, Scott, and I'll have a wee look and see what's to do. That's what we say in Lancashire. You see, I must confess I was very, very privileged to have worked all over the UK on radio and television. And I picked up all these beautiful old dialects when I worked in Lancashire and I worked in Yorkshire. Hey up, Scotty, and all that sort of stuff. Absolutely incredible. Can I get a shout out, says McAvoy Production. McAvoy Production, of course you can get a shout out. Lovely to have you with us and a very warm welcome. Guys, if you've just joined me from anywhere in the world, you're watching Scottie McClue. We're live on YouTube just for you, Dinky-Doo. We live stream here at 8 p.m. British Summertime, GMT +1. And what would that be? Who can work it out for me in Eastern Standard Time and Pacific Time? Let's get that out there, and then the world can join us. They'll know when to join us. Jamie Est, the local man from Greenock. Which local man accompanied Captain Scott on his ill-fated expedition to the Antarctic? So that would be in 1912. If it's a Greenock man, it would be Lieutenant Birdie Bowers. And he was on the expedition with Scott, and he stayed, I think, with his mother in one of the big houses on the Esplanade. I think it might have been the one at the bottom of North Street. Or was it Roseneath Street? It's one of the big houses there on the Esplanade in Greenock, and that was the Bowers house. And I think before he came to Greenock, he stayed in Kilmacombe or Bridge of Weir or something like that, I think. But don't take my word for it. Check it out. Am I right? Northern Light ships, Scotty, the Fingal, the Hesperus, the May, the Pole Star, the Ferris, marvellous. Loved your story about the lighthouse last night. Now, I can tell you, I remember the Torch. I think she was a light ship, and she was steam. So she was a big one. She had a big buff funnel and a navy blue hull. And she was called the Torch. And she was, when I say a light ship, she wasn't a light ship per se. She was a tender for Northern Lighthouses. And she was the one. Now, what was the story about the lighthouse that had 3 keepers on it. And it ended up being completely deserted. And when the lightship went, there was nobody to be seen. This was around 1903. It was, I'm pretty sure it was up now. What was it called? It'll come back to me. So there we are. But if anybody knows about that one, the Lighthouse Board men were very, very brave men, in particular during stormy weather. Well, of course, they put them in the old, what do you call it? It's not the bosun's chair, is it? Or a Telfer span. And they sent them from one ship across to the shore in all sorts of dreadful weathers to relieve the guys. And in the early days, these lights, they were candles. And your candle power was through magnifiers and mirrors. And they were turned by hand, by a hand crank. I think they may have been clockwork after that. And Stevenson, of course, Robert Louis Stevenson's family were the Stevensons that built the lighthouses. R.L. Stevenson, the author, Treasure Island, A Child's Garden versus Catherine Raven. You've just given Scottie McClue £10. Now, guys, you're beautiful. I am much humbled by this. You certainly do not have to. And it is very, very kind and very thoughtful. That level of generosity is so kind. It really is. Thank you. So there we are. Because as I say, McClue accepts applause or derision on his merits. Keep sharing, guys. Everybody share, 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 share. I'll do it, Catherine. What am I talking about? I'm sitting here forgetting to share because I'm so interested in what everybody's saying. Right, I am now going to... right, let's get off that and get some proper sharing done. What's going on here? For goodness sake. Right, so we've done that, have we? I don't know if we have done that. Facebook. I'm going to share on Facebook. Let everybody know we're on. Gordon Robertson, did you get the code tonight? Did you pick up the code? Did you understand what I meant? So there we are. Very, very important. Right. And we'll just pop that on there. That's fantastic. Guys, lovely, lovely to have you with us. Thank you, Catherine. That is so kind. Scotty, how's the dog in this heat? My 2 struggled during the day. I was a wee bit worried about him because he's 13 years and 7 months. But I spoke to the vet today who sent me through some new medication for him. And he's walking a lot better because with an FCE, that's an FCE, a fibrocartilaginous embolism. It means that he actually had lost the use of one of his paws, his back paws, but he fought his way back and we managed to get some blood supply and all that sort of stuff. Scotty, I don't drink and I'm no glad at it. I'm no glad at it. I am glad at it. So there we are. You'll have to do that one again, Catherine. I think the predictive text comes in. So there we are. Does anyone listening over the border have any memories of the Waverley? I'd love to hear. Ian Quinn, if we have done. Anybody listening in the south of England who remembers the Waverley? And Ian Quinn, I would like to know, why has the Waverley been so successful, particularly down south? Because I would imagine she goes to places like Margate and where else? Southend and all that, when the Jeannie Deans wasn't. So there we are. Very, very interesting. I wish the Barbarian would join the chat. Gordon Robertson. I met the Barbarian. I'm pretty sure it was him I met. Very interesting. Ian says the torch was owned by the Clyde Lighthouses Trust, based in Victoria Harbour, Greenock, built in 1924. So was that different to the Scottish Lighthouse Board then? That sort of idea. Flannan Isle, that's where that happened. Around 1903, Flannan Isle. And there was a guy paid by the Northern Lighthouse Board in Edinburgh to get in touch with them. I would imagine there would be telephones then, to get in touch with them if they ever saw the light going out. He hadn't quite paid attention, or he'd missed it, he hadn't seen it, or it had been stormy, and the light had been out for several days. When he raised the alarm, they sent one of their tenders out to Flannan Isle. And they stood off in the bay. Normally they would hoot their hooter, so they were going to right, and people would come running down to welcome them. Not a soul. They then took the tender and went onto the island, onto Flannan, and there was not a single soul. Nobody. And they said there was a half-finished meal, but I think that was added later. There was an overturned chair, and a couple of oilskins were missing. There was a slight bend in the railing down to the slipway. But apart from that, not a soul. And to this day, 117 years later, there has never, ever, ever been a trace of any of these three lighthouse keepers. There you are. What do you think happened on Flannan Isle on that fateful night in 1903, when my grandfather would be 22? There we are. Very interesting. Catherine says, I love Robert Louis Stevenson. Walking tours, I could never get the PayPal before Scotty. It's a pleasure to be able to. Catherine Raven, thank you. It's very, very kind of you. So there we are. And the torch survived until 1977. Her portholes survive as the Lavey portholes in the Waverley. How interesting, Ian. There'll be these wonderful, great big cast iron with a huge brass screw on them, so you can batten them down in a rough sea. My great uncle, who was a deep sea master and had circumnavigated the world 7 times. They gave him the OBE, and he'd been in 2 world wars, and he was the one that the submarine surfaced and put them out of action. And he was a captain with Hogarth's. So there we are. HH, which I think was it Hugh Hogarth? Hogarth Shipping. And the ships were built at Lithgow's. So there we are. And he was the master. His last one, I think, was the Baron Tweedmouth. They were all called barons. And this was the Baron Tweedmouth. And she lasted until 1972 as the Lorna. So there we are. So she was still around when I was a kid, the Baron Tweedmouth, and she was built in 1928. Not good at it, says Catherine. Well, Catherine, you've done very well. So thank you. Very, very kind of you. And I've done very well. Very kind of you. Thank you. Where in Greenock is Maggie's Well? And who was Maggie? Is Maggie's Well by any chance out the Inverkip Road? And was Maggie a Carlin, a witch? Is that possible? So there you are. Tell me more, Jamie Est. Scotty, I'm missing Loch Lomond and also Blackpool. I always visit Blackpool at this time of year. Fantastic. Well, you would have heard Scottie McClue on the radio. Scottie McClue is a big star in Blackpool. A friend of mine was telling me he was DJing in a bar at the Glasgow Fair, and some really wild Glasgow guys were in, and they were getting a wee bit out of hand to the extent he was quite concerned for his immediate well-being, because they were going, "Please, this, we're telling you," all that sort of stuff. So he's going to be a bit anxious. Anyway, he had a very bright idea. And he pointed at the whole lot of them and said, "Hey, now, settle down, or I'll get my mate Scottie McClue onto you." And apparently they immediately sorted their game out and said, "Do you know Scottie McClue?" They said, know him. I used to do a show with him. Oh! And they became much more amenable. Did you like that one? Did you like what I just did there? Much more amenable. Right, here we've got Ian. The Clyde Lighthouses Trust maintained all the buoys and the lighthouses as far as the Wee Cumbria. So what would you have? So that would include the Cloch, the Gantock. What else did we have? Stacks and stacks of buoys. I remember when they put that big buoy into the Clyde, the great one that you can stand on, a sort of perch. Absolutely. If you've just joined us, guys, welcome. Scottie McClue live on YouTube just for you. Never a dull moment. I am going to share this on one of the Facebook pages, the big one, the big Scottie McClue Facebook page. Follow me, guys, on Facebook, but follow me on Twitter. I want everybody watching to be on Twitter. Please subscribe if you haven't. Subscribe, and tap the wee bell, and then the wee bell, right? The wee bell. And that means you'll get the notifications when we go live in case I need to talk to you all suddenly. Right? So very important that. Right. Let's get into this. And if you can all do the same, everybody, let's have a group share and tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10 about Scottie McClue live on YouTube just for you saying Dinky-Doo. There we go. Right. There's a Dinky-Doo page on Facebook. I'm just sending this off to Scottie McClue, because there's about 6,000 on that one. So that'll get the numbers up. Tell 10 to tell 10. Betty says, I remember over 50 years ago, I used to spend my holidays up in St. Fergus. Oh, wow. Yes, I remember a boat called the St. Fergus. She was a kind of small bulk carrier, I think. And that was before the oil and gas boom, when it was foggy. I used to hear Rattray Head and the bottom foghorns blowing. Fantastic. There we are. Does that take you back a wee bit, Betty? Kareem, I like both these places. Last time I went to Blackpool, says Gordon Robertson, the wonderful Gordon Robertson. I went on a donkey. It took me 4 days. Next time I'm going in the car. Gordon Robertson, what do the donkeys in Blackpool get for their lunch? Half an hour. My gran was born in 1903, says Catherine Raven. Wow. I had a great mate, lived in Dunoon, and he was born in 1903. So there we are. Great character. Waverley is great success south due to the heritage of paddle steamers of long ago, in particular on the Bristol Channel. Bristol Queen, would I be right? That sort of thing. And the Thames, her active preservation success is conducive to that. So, Ian, why not the Jeannie Deans? That's what we need to know. Thousands pay big money for just 5 minutes of opening of Tower Bridge. Is that right? So tell us. What do you mean by that, Ian? Do you mean if somebody wanted to see Tower Bridge open, they could pay? Right, very interesting. I'll tell you what there is on the Thames. 2 things from the Thames that you'll like, Ian. Let me have a quick comfort break. Whoa! Woo! Crazy stuff tonight. Crazy. Scottie McClue, crazy. It's wonderful, isn't it? Down there is the Massey Shaw. Now, the Massey Shaw is a London fire boat, and she's called after Captain Massey Shaw, who was the head of the London Fire Brigade. And if you ever go to a showing of Gilbert and Sullivan's operetta, or I like to call them opera, Iolanthe, right? When you've got all the piers and you've got the Tarantara and all that sort of idea, and the Lord Chancellor and the Fairy Queen. Wonderful. So you've got all these characters. And in Iolanthe, I've been in Iolanthe, actually. It's a lovely, lovely opera. And there's a song by the Fairy Queen, and she goes, "Oh, Captain Shaw," right? And then she, "Flower of the nation's daughter, could thy brigade with cold cascade," right? "Could thy brigade with cold cascade." And Gilbert and Sullivan, Gilbert, William Schwenk Gilbert, he wrote these lyrics with in mind the great personalities that would be attending the Savoy operas. So there were, and Captain Massey Shaw was along at a performance of Iolanthe, and they'd written him into the lyrics. Is that not fantastic? And the Massey Shaw has 2 8-cylinder Glenifers, which of course double up as fire pumps, raw water, and she would moor along perhaps a burning warehouse on the quayside, or a burning ship even, and she would switch on her pumps, open up the 2 8-cylinder Glenifers from Annie's Land in Glasgow, full pelt, and this terrific, powerful jets of water would start to damp down the fire, shooting right up into the air, the Massey Shaw. And she's still about. She's been restored. I don't know if anybody's old enough to remember Winston Churchill's funeral. And Winston Churchill was taken from Tower Bridge. It was Tower Bridge to Waterloo. And there was the Port of London Authority launch called the Haven Goer. And the Haven Goer, they were called after, she took the hydrographers down the Thames. She was built in Tufts of Teddington in 1956. And the Haven Goer has been fully restored. And I'll tell you a lovely little story about Haven Goer, as well as taking Winston Churchill's coffin. So if you can see a YouTube of Churchill's funeral, when they take him up the Thames, he's on the catafalque is the after cabin of the Haven Goer, which is a lovely boat. Solid teak, wonderful. And her guys, they used to have white cloths for lunch. The crew weren't terribly well paid, but they were top professionals. And the cabin boy used to wash her down with fresh water every night, all the teak round the wheelhouse. And when they took her to bits to restore her, the main bit where the rot was where they'd washed her all down with fresh water so she wouldn't rot. They are quite interesting. So there you go, Ian. So when you say to me thousands pay big money for 5 minutes of opening the Tower Bridge, what do you mean by that? Waverley visited Bunt Island in 1981, 82 and 83. Wow, fantastic. Ian Quinn is a wonderful man. You're a star everywhere, Scotty. You're a delight to the ears and the brain. Catherine Raven, thank you. That's so kind of you. Guys, we need to do more sharing. Something's happened here. We need to share as quick as we possibly can and let everybody know what's happening. We're live. So I'm just going to share. Can everybody follow me on Twitter at Scottie McClue? Just go on and, oh, there's his Twitter account. Just follow me. And also, can we all subscribe to our live stream, the live podcast right here? Brilliant. Thank you. Very, very important. Maggie's Well is a spring well built by a detachment of the Argyll Sutherland Highlanders on the road to Loch Tom. Now, the 277 Argyll Sutherland Highlanders Territorial Battalion, when I was a wee boy, they had their headquarters at the bottom of South Street. And the Argylls were the local. Greenock was a big, big recruiting ground. Greenock, Port Glasgow, Dunoon. You had different battalions. The 8th Argylls were in Dunoon. And Greenock was very big for the Argyll Sutherland Highlanders. And when I was young in Greenock, a lot of the top business guys in Greenock that ran all the big businesses, the shipyards, the sugar house, all that sort of stuff, the sugar houses, they'd been in the Argylls, the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders. So they're one of my family regiments, of course, and I knew Senior Argylls very, very well. General Sir Gordon Macmillan, who lived in Finlayson, who I was very privileged to have afternoon tea with once. And Gordon Macmillan, very, very, very senior general, very brilliant, very brave, highly decorated, knighted 3 times, I think, if I remember right. His lovely wife, Marion, Lady Macmillan. And he was just one of the nicest men you could meet, a very, very fair man, and very senior in the British Army. And he had Finlayson House. He owned Finlayson House at Langbank, the estate at Langbank there. And he was the general officer commanding the army in Scotland, the GOC, as was his son, John. And he was an Argyll and Sutherland Highlander. Fantastic. So there you are. I think it just depended what regiment you got assigned to when you joined the Scottish regiments, depending on what officers they were looking for. I remember a friend of mine saying he joined the Argylls as an officer because they'd lost 3 subalterns, and that made room for him. Heavens above, but he loved it. He said it was the most sensible thing he ever did, and he served with Colin Mitchell. So there we are. Mad Mitch. I've seen Blackpool Tower from the Waverley, 429, says Ian Quinn. So there you are. So Maggie's Well. So do tell me, when did the Argylls build Maggie's Well? Because I think there would be a detachment or an attachment of Argylls to the schools. So there we are. I'm pretty sure. And a lot of the Argylls in Aidan were from the west of Scotland. Did I get the code? No, but saying that, you've just blown my cover as a spy. Gordon Robertson, if you check the Facebook tonight, you'll see my announcement there, a wee code for you. The St. Fergus and her sisters, J&A Gardeners. Wow. So there we are. Wonderful. Now, Ian Quinn, the St. Fergus I saw moored at Tobermory Pier. And I can remember something, the St. Fergus is in. So I don't know what cargo she took. McBrain's also had a very busy cargo division. And things like, was it the Loch Earn and the Loch Moor? The Loch Seaforth was a cargo ship. The Loch Seaforth, I'm pretty sure, was a cargo ship. And what else did you have? It was a cargo ship. Was it the Loch Carron? Was she a cargo ship? I think. What about that, Ian Quinn? You must be impressed with old McClue. Scotty, can we have a wee song in the organ or the piano? Of course. My daughter was born 100 years after my grandmother in 2003. Lavvy portholes on the Waverley just assumed she would have lavvy pans. I hope the portholes are at the right height to use. Gordon Robertson, what are you at? So there you are, lavvy pans. Scotty, you're chatting mind. Share, share, share. Derek Grant, thank you for remembering us. Let's get sharing. Right, I'm going to tweet. What would you like me to put on the tweet for YouTube, for tonight's YouTube podcast? Podcast number 8. What shall we put on for hashtags? Suggestions, please, for the tweet. Hashtags. The Ginny Deans, as Queen of the South, was very poorly managed. She was due to operate 66, 67 seasons, but only sailed a total of 3 weeks between both years. Did the Paddle Steamer Preservation Society ever think about taking her on, Ian? So do tell me. And was it right maybe to call her Queen of the South? Did they have to do that? I thought predictive text had got me, but I don't think it did. No, Gordon Robertson, don't you worry. No panic. Oh, Scotty, tell me more about the big boys. Oh, yes, I could tell you about the big boys. That was them. Well, they calmed right down when he mentioned Scottie McClue. There you are. Waverley Preservation learned from the failures of Ginny. When the Waverley's on the Thames, all the passengers love is Tower Bridge opening and the whistle blowing. And does it cost a lot of money to get the bridge open? Or is there a chance that it would be open for anything? Churchill suffered from depression. He called it the black dog. Yes, he had the black dog on his shoulder. I personally, if I'd been Lord Moran, who was Churchill's personal physician, I think I actually wrote a book about it, Lord Moran. I think I would have said to him, well, he probably did say to him, actually, so I can't say I would have done that. We can't blame Lord Moran. I think I would have said, Winston, you must give up smoking and come off the booze till you get your head right, Overwork as well and working through the night. I mean, I worked nights for 20-odd years, and they say that it can bring you down. It never brought me down. But when there was a full moon, and you can laugh as much as you like, say, that's a lot of nonsense. It's not a lot of nonsense. If the moon can have an effect on a tide, it can surely have a pull on a person's brain. And when there was a full moon and I was doing the late night phone-in from 10 to 1 in the morning, I used to find it quite heavy going right at the height of the full moon. It was beautiful. Lovely to come out the stations, particularly in Leith. And I came out the station in Leith and there wasn't a sound. It was a night like we've got now. You could have heard a pin drop. And then I heard in the distance, boom, 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 boom. Diesel chatter. And I thought, there's a ship coming in. There's a boat coming in. Boom, 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 boom. And I heard boom, 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 boom. So it was quite constant. And I thought, she's got twin engines. The old brain kicked in, right? Thought, so she must be a fair size. Anyway, I watched and then I saw a light, as I saw navigation lights, and I saw a white light, a steaming light. And the boom, 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 boom got louder. And it was 2 fishing boats, probably from Aberdeen or something, coming into Leith late at night on the tide. Lovely, 2 wee fishing boats coming in. And it was the 2 engines I was hearing. Do you remember St. Columba's? Yes, a wonderful ship, the St. Columba. Wonderful stuff. You mentioned a small bulk carrier. I think I know the woman who you're referring to. Gordon Robertson, what are you like? The well is located on Waterman's Road. Oh, yes, the Waterman's Road between Connolly's Bridge and Overton Housing Scheme in Greenock. It was constructed by the 6th Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders in August 1915 while they were based in the area. Well, 6th Argylls may well have been the battalion from the area. 6th would denote the battalion. The 8th Argylls were Dunoon and Mid-Argyll, round about there. Fantastic. I've just posted as a reply to the tweets to the Twitter accounts of the Scotsman, Daily Mail, The Sun, and other places. Good Gordon Robertson. Tell these people what's good for them. Because I can guarantee worldwide, and this is not blowing any trumpets, there will be nothing to beat Scottie McClue broadcasting live streaming and podcasting on YouTube. There'll be nothing on their tellies that will match this. And as you know, the way to make this just a brilliantly great show is to get everybody on it and to discuss whatever we want to discuss. So there we are. So thank you. I'll reply to the tweets, the Twitter accounts of the Scotsman, the Daily Mail, and the Sun. Wonderful. At Scotsman, at, is it Daily Mail, and at Sun Scotland. Scotty Mind, share. Yes, help me out here. What are we putting for hashtags? I'll put Tuesday. Yes, I'll put live. Must watch. Yes, excellent. So there we are. Getting this up, guys. Go on, you can all help as well. What else have I to put in the hashtags for Twitter? Blackout Tuesday, Team McClue. So there we are. Blackout Tuesday. What do we do about that? Do we have McClue streaming then? Team McClue. Fantastic. Team McClue. What else am I putting, guys? Hashtags, please, as soon as you like. Thank you, Catherine. Maggie's Well's on the same road, but no one's sure why it exists. 1915. Maybe they wanted... I wonder if I've had a drink out of Maggie's Well. And we need to find out who Maggie was, because there was like a big kind of sink and it poured down out the drum, and there was a metal cup on a chain, and you could take a good drink when you're up there. Take a drink. Take a drink. Wonderful stuff. Yes, that's it. Oh, come on, take a drink. Thank you, Catherine. This is Gordon Robertson. Can you say a big hello to Angel Snedden, Scotty? And keep sharing, everybody. I'll say hello to Angel. Guys, can everybody share? Can everybody like the stream? We need to have lots more of these. So look down and click like. Also subscribe to Scottie McClue's YouTube channel and tap the bell. It's absolutely free, I assure you. There we are. No salesman will call. Remember, you used to see that adverts or things that it said, apply, no salesman will call. Oh my goodness me. Team McClue, what else am I putting? Lockdown, would that be a good one? There we are, lockdown. There we go. Lockdown 2020. What else are we putting, guys? Probably, says Catherine, probably. Hello, Scotty, says the wonderful Peter McCallum. Hello, Peter. Lovely to have you with us. And welcome, 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 I say, to Scottie McClue's live stream podcast on YouTube. Tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10 about Scottie McClue podcasting live each weeknight, 8 o'clock sharp, here on YouTube, just for you, Dinky-Doo, talking about everything. Everything. This is the People's Podcast. It's a go-to place for people during lockdown, and you can have a chat. So there we are. Fantastic. In fact, I'm going to talk to some of you once. Let me send this tweet, for goodness sake. I'll put a picture up. What picture would you like? A picture of McClue. I had a half-witted idiot yesterday. Oh, aye, showing off, eh? Showing off. There we go. That's showing off. Scottie McClue. The whole world knows Scottie McClue. I am the world's top broadcaster. I am the first lord of the internet, the world's most humble man. And I put a picture up to say to people, come and join us. Showing off. You'll be showing off. So that's as I just dumped him. I thought, get yourself away, my man. Do one. Day one. Day one. See what I've got here for you. I think it's wonderful. Right. Do you know that almost 500,000 people have viewed Scottie McClue's YouTube channel? Hi, Scottie, I'm from Ireland. I hope you're keeping well. McAvoy. Have I said it right? McAvoy Productions. Which part of Ireland are you from? Are you from the south? And I talk to you south. If you're from the north, I'll make it a little bit harder like that. Is that it? So you tell me where you're from. I'll give you an accent, and you can tell me if it's any good. All right, this man's from Ireland. Hope you're keeping well. McAvoy Production. Lovely to have you with us. Do you do films? Get a part for McClue. Scottie McClue, the movie. Scottie, have you ever experienced anything to do with the paranormal? Yes, I has. Cork. And you're right with the name. It's McAvoy Productions. Now, I love Cork. I could stay in Cork all for the rest of my life. So I could. So there you are. Fantastic. And the old code key down there at Cork, where the Irish Rover left from. And I had such a lovely afternoon in Cork with a girlfriend of mine. And it was just outstanding. And she said, we better get a move on before the rush hour. I said, oh, you're right, it's 5 o'clock. I went into a car park right in the centre of Cork, a multi-storey, is that right? And it was very, very narrow. You just made it around the corner, and your wheels squealed when you were just turning very slowly. You know, as if you were James Bond, as if you were Pierce Brosnan. And what was the one when, today's news, tomorrow's news today. What was that one? With, it was fantastic. Elliot Carver, that one. Pierce Brosnan was in it. Superb movie. I love the Bond movies. Anyway, it sounded as if we had Bond's BMW car being driven up and down the car park. We were just going out. And I said, yeah, we better get a move on. The rush hour will hit the traffic. And there's no rush hour in Cork. Am I right? Am I right, Mr. McAvoy? There's no rush hour. Thanks, Catherine. Kareem, good question. So excellent stuff, Kareem. Let's get back here. Who's the world's second lord of the internet? I didn't know there was a second lord, because you see, I suppose that you can get the second Sea Lord. You have the first Sea Lord and the second Sea Lord. Pardon me. And we're talking about Gilbert and Sullivan earlier. Gilbert and Sullivan's HMS Pinafore, Admiral Sir Joseph Porter, and that song about the guy who's a landsman, and he becomes the First Lord of the Admiralty, and he rules the Navy, and he knows nothing about ships. And this is a British thing. It's a British anomaly going back in history, when you're people who were very, very ignorant about whatever it was they were dealing with in battle and all sorts of things. But they were aristocrats, so they got the appointment. You know, they were the son of Lord so-and-so, so they gave them the job, you know, and there's been quite a few. I'll not embarrass families by naming names, but there's quite a lot of things in history. Anyway, this guy that had been the First Lord of the Admiralty, which is different from being the First Sea Lord, which is a senior naval appointment. So the First Lord of the Admiralty, and Sir Joseph Porter, KCB, Knight Commander of the Order of the Bath. Absolute beauty. And his cousins and his aunts. And he was based on W.H. Smith, the publisher, who became the first Sea Lord. Isn't that? There's a wee bit of history for you, you'll see. Oh, I'm not just an athlete, you know. I'm also a black belt in karaoke. So there you are. So I don't know if there is a second Lord of the Internet. Kareem, good question. Kareem, I need to find your question again. Oh, yes. Scotty, have you ever experienced anything to do with the paranormal? Now, let me have a sip of Adam's ale. Here we go, guys. Oh, that's lush. I thank you. Who's giving me more money? Very, very generous. I will find you out. I will seek you out and thank you. Somebody's clicked the $, guys. Scottie McClue is absolutely free at the point of consumption, the point of delivery. Absolutely 100% free. If any of you want to click the $, if you're enjoying, then you're very welcome to do so. But that's at your discretion. And you would only give something if you wanted to and if you felt you could. The other thing is you will see a little button which says, buy me a hot chocolate. Only if you want to, but it's there. And I thank you. Thank you so much. But I'll find out. I know a lot of you generous people tonight, Naughty Boys, Gordon Robertson, Kareem, Jimmy, all that sort of stuff. Aha. Yes, yes, yes. Anyway, so have I experienced the paranormal? Now that I've had a sip of water and a comfort break, don't think I'm playing for time. I'm not, you know. That's the one thing we're short of in these podcasts. We've only got 2 hours. So little time to do it in. Right. Paranormal story. Okay, here we go. I sort of don't necessarily believe in the whole thing of ghosts, like light shaking and all that stuff, like you might get at a seance. But I used to have a wonderful man that came into the radio station, and he was a medium. I'm an extra large, but he was a medium. No, sorry about that. And he was the most fantastic medium. And his stuff was outstanding. And people used to come on and sort of attack me for having him on. So, McClue, you've no right to have these people in, disturbing people that have passed on. But we were absolutely mobbed every single night he was on. And I thought, I need to try this guy out when I met him. And it was just him and I upstairs in the radio station, beautiful old church. And he said to me, when I see you, Scotty, you've never met me before. I said, no, I haven't met you before. I see you staying somewhere that's connected with wood. And I said, well, it's kind of quite new houses I'm in. I said, it might be, they may have been built near a wood. He said, no, it's a title. It's a title of a road like Oak or Ash Lane or... And I was staying in a house with Larch in the name. And he didn't know that. Now, this is incredible. And then I watched him work all the nights I had him in the show. And what he had to do, people would ring up and say, James was his name, James Bond, fantastic guy, lovely man, and had a very, very difficult start in life, very difficult childhood. But he was a lovely guy, a lovely family. His father had been absolutely horrible to him, and he told us all about it. It was heartbreaking, actually. Anyway, wonderful, wonderful man. And James came on and did a few shows. I brought him to Scott FM, and he was just absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. So there we go. And people would phone to the radio station, and they would say, James... I would say, Mary, you're through to James. And James would go, hello, Mary, have I met you before? And she would have to say, absolutely not. And that kept things right. Then he would say, what can I do for you? And she would say, do you have a message for me? And he would tell her about her husband or her brother or her father or her mother in the loveliest way. And he would say, I can see your father had a brother. No, James, no, my father was an only child. No, love, he had a brother. Your father, there was two of them, and he had a brother. And the name Henry springs to mind. The name Henry. So your father had a brother. Oh, no, I don't think so, James. You must have the wrong person. My dad was an only child. I'm sorry, love. I don't mean to argue with you, but your father had a brother, and the name Henry comes to mind. Oh, James, my Uncle Harry. My Uncle Harry, he died when he was quite young. Yes, he was my dad's brother. Right, well, that'll be it. And this was the way he went on. It was absolutely incredible. And then he would, tell stories about him. Your father and him are together, and they're all right. They're quite happy. Just absolutely incredible stuff. Now, me personally, have I experienced the paranormal? Yes, is the answer. And it was a house I was in, lovely big house, fairly new house, and I was staying in it, and I was sitting working just myself in this big studio study room. And I'm typing away. It was the early days of the internet. And I wasn't on the internet. I had a word processor and I was writing. I did a lot of writing and I was typing away. And I suddenly felt very cold, shivery cold. And I was drawn to the center of the room. Now, I couldn't see anything, but I was drawn right to the center of the room. And something within me said, you'll have to just deal with this. It was quite frightening, scared, no, just very, very unusual, very strange. And I said, and you'll probably think I'm bonkers, but this is what happened. I'm just telling you. I said, who are you and what can I do for you? And there was an instant relaxation. Now, in that room, I woke up in tears one morning, and I'm not given to tears. I get emotional when I see the generosity of you lot on a live stream like this. But I'm not given to tears. But I woke up in floods of tears, really quite upset in this room, right? It was a kind of bed set up. And it's terrible. I'm going to have to move out of this room. And then I was sitting in one night and I had a CD on of one of my favorite singers, if not my very favorite, Kenneth McKellar, the late Kenneth McKellar. And it was Sacred Songs, and it was a hymn, Do No Sinful Action, Speak No Angry Word, Ye belong to Jesus, children of the Lord. Do no sinful action. And Kenneth McKellar singing that beautiful voice of his. Outstanding. And I got this vice-like grip round the back of my neck. A vice-like grip. Get that off. Get that off. Vice-like, round the back of my neck. There was no one else in that room except me. And I put it off, and everything went calm again. And I thought, this is very, very strange. It wasn't my mind playing tricks. It actually happened. It's the only one experience. And I am very, very skeptic with people. Believe it or not, for Mr. Tough Guy, I'm a very, very sensitive man when it comes to psychic things. And I think this is part of the whole communication thing on radio, television, online, YouTube, whatever it is, communication-wise. I love people. I love to see people with positive interaction. That's what makes this different to anything else you will ever get on the whole of the internet. That's why I claim the title of First Lord of the Internet, because this is just different. This is about you and I and the rest of the world. Just chatting, just talking. Because I want to hear your experiences now. I've given you mine, and that's exactly what happened. And of course, you get the jokers, the jokers always after, away you go. So no, listen, you asked me, and that's what happened. I should know. I was there. I thought nobody else was there, but somebody was. Somebody was there. And I don't know who it would be. I had no connection. It wasn't in Scotland. So I don't know who that would be. And then I had a girlfriend staying, and she was upset. And I'd been out for the night, and I came back in, and I shouted up, "You still awake?" She said, "Yep." "Do you want a cup of tea?" And I went up, and she had tears in her eyes. I said, "Are you all right?" And she said, "This house is strange." And she said, "There's been a lady here who's lost a child." And I said, I mean, do you think it's a recent thing? It's virtually a new house. She said, no, a long time ago. It could be hundreds of years ago. It was the ground. So there you go, guys. So you did ask, Kareem. I hope you're not sorry you asked now. So there we are. McAvoy Production, Dinky-Doo. So in answer to your question, Kareem, have I ever experienced anything to do with the paranormal? Yes. There you are. That's me. I've told you now. Cork, and you're right with the name. So there we are. Fantastic, Mr. McAvoy. Teaching the nations, Scotty. Yes, Derek Grant. We're teaching the nations. So there we are. Kareem, that is a good question. Thanks, Catherine. Says Kareem, McBrains had the Loch Carron, the Loch Ard, the Loch Dunvegan as cargo steamers. I sailed in the Carron, £5 for the week, including meals. What a wonderful trip. There's a lovely YouTube of, I think it might be the Loch Carron. And did they go astern out of Tobermory? And he was talking about it, the captain was talking about it. And, we've got rain. And I've just put a shot out in the line. I thought it'd be dry. Anyway, not to worry, not the end of the world. The Loch Carron, and he was saying that, going in to piers at nights, the likes of Scaranish, when you would speak to the harbour master, and a lot of them spoke Gaelic, and, you heard them say, hard to starboard! Hard to starboard, she's hard to starboard, straighten her up. And then you'd hear her going astern. Now, Ian Quinn, I'm going to tell you something that you'll probably know, but not many people will know. I found out McBrains had 2 steamers built in 1930, the Loch Earn and the Loch Moor. And I think they sold them on to Greek ship owners in the late 60s. And maybe even the early 70s. I think it was the late 60s. And I found out that the Loch Earn and the Loch Moor did not have reversing gear. And my wee brain went into overdrive, and I thought, how on earth did they deal with that? And what they were doing, as you know, diesels will start in reverse with compressed air. They stopped the engines when the bridge rang for a stern. They stopped the engines and restarted them in reverse and opened them up for full astern. Now, to me, that sounds like an absolute nightmare. Could you imagine if you're heading for a quay and they didn't restart? Something like that. Could you imagine what that would be like? So it would go something like this. Hello, Loch Earn, Loch Earn, Loch Earn, Loch Moor, Loch Moor, Loch Moor, over. You see, so the one they were calling, the other one would come second, as you'll know, Ian. So the call sign on the VHF would go, hello, Loch Earn, Loch Earn, Loch Earn, Loch Moor, Loch Moor, Loch Moor, over. And then you would hear, then they would try again. Hello, Loch Earn, Loch Earn, Loch Earn, Loch Moor, Loch Moor, Loch Moor, over. Hello, hey, hello. Hello, Loch Moor, Loch Moor, Loch Moor, Loch Earn, Loch Earn, Loch Earn, over. You see, and they'd say, we're just coming into Scaranish. And then they would go like this. And they would go, full astern. And the chief must have had to shout, stop both! Yeah. Restart! Open her up! And then they would ring. Ahead now! Stop both! Restart! Open her up! Could you imagine it? Now that must have been what was required. Now, Ian Quinn, you can help me here. Is that anything like what would go on? Gordon Robertson, numpty heads, bam bams. Oh, putting on here, I don't want to put numpty heads and bam bams on this for the tweet. You can't. I'll put some football teams in. Motherwell, I'll put them in for you. This is for Gordon Robertson. So you'll see Motherwell in the tweet. Who else have we got? We'll put in Celtic. That's wonderful. There we go. Fantastic. And we'll put in good. Guys, I'm just working away here. Just talk amongst yourselves for a second or two. I'm sending a tweet to let everybody know that we are on. You're right, says McAvoy Production. Is that right? And there's no rush hour in Cork. Nobody rushes. Fantastic. My name is Bond, but you can call me Scotty. My name is Bond. People call me Buzzledon. I am his brother. Wonderful stuff. I need a quick comfort break. Oh my goodness me. Warm was never in it. I say it's just roasting here. Guys, can we get these numbers up? Could everybody share, please? Share. Now, there we are. I'm going to try and get all your favourite football teams involved in the tweet as well, of course. There we are. Right, that's on just now. And live now, join us. Is that best? When I'm wealthy, guys, what I'll do is I'll get the wizard to do all this. Live now, join us. Now, put that up. That's quite funny. Live now, join us now. I will see. Who else have I got here? Oh, that'll do, will it? I'm getting some of the teams down south as well, guys, just to let you know there. Right, I'm going to tweet this. Now, I want you to tell me, right, it's just going through now. Let's get it properly tweeted. Tweet. Good. Right, that's been tweeted. And what I'll do is I'll put up the tweet. So if you can follow me on Twitter at Scottie McClue. Everybody follow me on Twitter if you've got a Twitter account and start sharing. Catherine's sending me a lovely heart there. I'm going to subscribe to your channel, McAvoy Production. Please subscribe and share and share and share and share. We've only been going a week. So this is number 8. So we've only been going a week with this series of podcasts. There's about 700 podcasts on Scottie McClue's YouTube channel. And there's a lot of radio shows, television shows, argy-bargy, everything's on there. Scottie, behave yourself. I think that went down well. So there we are. What was that? The ghost story. Thanks for that experience, Scottie. The numbers are dropping. People must have got a fright. There we go. Guys, so many people have seen the tweet. It's just gone up now. Scottie, if I was 6'5", I'd be a stunning medium too. Derek Grant, we love it. Woo! A wee joke. A merry jape. Hello, Scottie, not seen you for a while. Go for a pint after this isolation palaver. Paul Miller, that would be absolutely wonderful. But McClue does not drink. So there you are. I used to take a light refreshment, so it's wonderful. You should see Stephen Black on Facebook. He draws your loved ones. It's fantastic. Wonderful, Catherine. Good evening, Scottie, and all the McClunatics. The McClunatics. Wonderful. Joseph Aitken. Hi, Scottie. What do you think of Donald Trump? Are you a fan? I think he's a remarkable character, but I don't think he's particularly suited as President of the United States. When you've got that high office, you really need a fairly serious person who does what he's asked. Do you see what I just did there? He doesn't do what he's told, but he does what he's asked. And that's what you want in a leader. People who can give leadership to the people but also they do what they're asked, and they don't go upsetting apple carts all over the place for no good reason. All right? So there you are. But, having said that, a remarkable man. And as somebody once said to me, when I first started getting involved with boards in radio stations and things like that, I was very, very lucky to be trained by a wonderful man who had worked with the highest in the land. He'd been the company secretary of an ITV station. And he said to me, if you don't like the incumbent, you must respect the office. All right? This is what he said to me. And I think that was absolutely incredible. So that goes for things like, say somebody didn't like Donald Trump, he is nevertheless the president of the United States of America. He's the POTUS. So he's been elected there. And we respect the office of President of the United States of America. So there we are. Interesting. So that's that one. Ian Quinn says, Waverley's visited Red Bay, Belfast, Donaghadee, Warren Point in Northern Ireland, and Dublin, Dunleary, Arklow, Wicklow, Rosslare, Cork, Cove, C-O-B-H, Cove, am I right? Dundalk, and how do I pronounce that one? Youghal in Southern Ireland. Youghal. How do I say that? Tell me how to pronounce that, please. Yes, Mr. McAvoy, help. Waverley has been a boot. Absolutely, Ian Quinn. Scotty, when my gran passed away, she'd never seen my flat because I'd just moved in. One night she was standing at the door entrance to my bedroom, all black shadow. It was an experience. So, Kareem, you saw your grandmother. Absolutely not a problem. Quite acceptable. She was visiting you to say hi and that she was all right. There we are. Her spirit, a lively, indomitable spirit. Spooky, says Terry Owings. Yes, spooky in one way, Terry Owings, but that was just, my experience was an unhappy, unsorted spirit that was just needing told that they could go and rest. Catherine Raven, my dad threw the spirit board thing in the open fire after it repeatedly told him to kill my mum's best friend. When he threw it in the fire blew up in a white light and his friend. So there we go. The Ouija board. That's dangerous. I would never, ever tamper with the paranormal if you don't know what you're doing. You've got to remember, a very experienced spiritualist know what they're doing. That's spooky, says Catherine Raven. The board went up in a blaze when he tried to bum the board. Never messed with the light or like of that again. Jamie Est, wonderful man. Guys, how many people have seen that tweet? Tell me. It's only been up for a few seconds. How many people have seen it? Have a go. Do tell. Can we all share, please? Can we all like? Can we tell 10 to tell 10? Can you share with your gaming pals in groups? Share on your YouTube. Share anywhere at all. But tell them about Scottie McClue, because I want everybody to see this live podcast stream as the go-to place during lockdown. They'll never see anything on the telly or hear anything on the radio like this. So just come and join us. Come here. There's more. There we are. Who would win the world's most humblest man contest? Scottie McClue, Billy Connolly, Noel Edmonds, Danny Kaye, Captain Andy O'Brien, or Phil from EastEnders? Ooh. Well, I think I am the world's most humblest man. I'm not saying these guys are not humble, but I would say I am the world's most humble man. Yes, let's talk about something cheery, all this. Is there anybody there? No. I've come back from walking the dog, says Jerry Nichol. Jerry, absolutely. Paranormal, out the window, unless somebody's got a story they want to share with us. Paul Miller, any advice for starting university after summer? I'm nervous and could do with a wise opinion of someone like yourself. Paul Miller, watch out for the traps at university. When you're matriculating, there will be a very, very, very big queue. All right? People will also come round and get you to join the drama club, the musical club, do you play an instrument? Political clubs. Are you a Tory? Are you a Liberal? Are you Labour? Are you a Nationalist? All that sort of thing. So you get a lot of that. Be very wary during Freshers' Week of people saying, why don't you take a smoke and have a drink with us and all that stuff? Because it can be dangerous. You can drink too much, pass out, also make yourself very sick, all sorts of things. So my advice would be caution. Get to know people and have a chat. Don't be nervous. You're a clever, clever man. You've nothing to be nervous about. So there we are. But easy to say that, but I know it can be a bit daunting, but just keep your wits about you and find out everything. I can quote you from Kenneth Graham's Wind in the Willows. Go out, mow, and forage. Go out, mow, and forage. Catherine Raven says, you just reminded me of the Citizens Band Radio, the CB, the Fire Rods 1010, and See You Again. Absolutely. Do you remember that? One line for a rig check. What am I hitting you with? The big Scotty on here. We are on fire. Motherwell are a great team. I do support them, but I support 100% Celtic. Well, I think they're involved in the tweet. You haven't told me how many people have seen the tweet. I've just put it up. Probably Numpty Head, says the Watery Leaf. Numpty Head. You mean Numpty Head was visiting us as a ghost? My daughter said she saw my mum the night she passed away in her room. Turns out she can read, but doesn't do it because she can't block out the bad energy. When you say read, do you mean read cards or tarot or stuff like that? What would you do if you were on a sinking boat surrounded by sharks? Right, Evil Lego, this is a disclaimer here. Do not try this at home. This is for entertainment purposes. Do not try this if you're in a sinking boat surrounded by sharks. This is for entertainment purposes. But if it was a question I was going, I might try it if I thought they're just about to eat my head. Now, partly if you put your head in the water and you go, the sharks panic and push off. But as the guy that told me that followed very quickly with his caveat, I wouldn't like to try it, mind you. As he put his glasses on, his sad glasses, because I wouldn't like to try it, mind you. Fantastic stuff. Scotty, what song will you play tonight? Oh, Karim, what would you like? He never went near it again, says Catherine Raven. No good, Catherine. Scotty, please do the goodbye song when you go. I'm loving this live stream. It's been fabulous tonight. Each night just gets better and better. I say to myself, can this get any better? And I think, surely not. But it does. It just gets better because of you, wonderful people, watching right now. Can we all share, please? You haven't told me how many people have seen the tweet. I think the story of the Lochen and the Lochmore is a bit oot. They were state-of-the-art in 1930. I honestly feel they would be operated by engineers answering the telegraphs as on the Maids and the Senex, etc. No, you're missing the point, Ian. The engineers were answering the questions. Were answering the telegraphs, but she had no reverse gear. All right, the Lochen and the Lochmore apparently did not have an astern facility. So they stopped the diesels and restarted them in reverse by compressed air. So they were, check that one out. So it's nothing to do with not having professional engineers. They would have the best engineers in McBrain's. You would need to perform an operation like that. They didn't have reverse gear. That was the point I was making. Scotty, it's now raining in Newton Mearns, says Kareem Sakurai. Well, the rain has moved around. It was raining earlier with me as well. I'm sitting here, says Gordon Robertson, eating a big bag of pea pods. Now, I think I've heard about this. Can you eat pea pods? Are they quite nice? Are they juicy? Because when you shell peas, they're lovely. What film was it that the maid, the kitchen maid or the cook, was shelling peas and she suddenly died? What movie was that? So there we are. It's the shelled peas I'm eating. You said a big bag of pea pods. Didn't think you could eat a pea pod, can you? Does anybody know? Are pea pods edible? Not eligible. There we are. I don't know. Fantastic. Right. Wonderful. More sharing, please. Has everybody subscribed? Folks, if you've just joined us, I'm neglecting you here. You're watching Scottie McClue, the first lord of the internet, the world's top podcaster and broadcaster, and the world's most humble man. And we are live right now on YouTube, on the big one. Fantastic. Thank you to everybody who has tapped the dollar sign tonight and who has bought me a hot chocolate. It's the shelled peas he's eating. How amazing. Right, let's have a wee tune. Dinky-Doo, finish with engines until tomorrow night. You're a wee bit early, Ian, but we'll let you finish with engines. Finish with engines. Finish with engines, Skipper. Ring finish with engines. That's not sounding as it did. Is that sounding like a telegraph to you? Very interesting. Right. Yes, we've got about another 10 minutes. The pods aren't edible. Even when I give one to my hamster, Toya, she bites through the pod and only eats the peas. Yes, the hamsters shove them into the pouch, don't they? We love all that. Fantastic. Do you share that glass of water with a daffodil? Why do you ask, watery leaf? Shall I give you a wee tune? Guys, do you know how many people have seen the tweet and it's only been up 2 or 3 minutes? Tell me. I ask you. Right. Now, guys, can you spend the rest of tonight and a lot of tomorrow sharing the live stream, please? Pipe organ. How's about that for you, my loves? There we are, a wee tune on the pipe organ. So there we are, just one for you guys. Fantastic. If you've just joined us, a very warm welcome to our podcast. We're live streaming live on YouTube, the world's top streaming site. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Scottie McClue. If you're an alien life form from another planet and you've never heard of me, capital S, small C-O-T-T-I-E, that's the Scottie. The McClue, capital M, small c. Capital C-L-U-E, that is the McClue. I am the first lord of the internet. We broadcast and podcast each weeknight, well, in fact, each night, every night, 8 o'clock sharp. Be there or be square, I say. Well over 300 have seen the tweet. So now you know. Yes, fantastic. Scottie, you're looking like the captain of a ship tonight with your stripy top and your bonnet. Only be you who can see the stats. I can see the stats, God. The stats are huge. I used to pop the peas open and eat them as well as the rhubarb. We kids dipped them in a poke of sugar. Guys, can everybody share right now, please? And share, and tell 10 to tell 10. Tell all your friends. We watched Scottie McClue. Oh, is he still about? I thought he'd passed away. What kind of person comes out with that kind of stuff? Do they actually come on here and go, Scottie, I thought you were dead. This is amazing. Thank you. The wonderful Kareem says, how can you tell who's seen the tweet? I'm new to this. I don't have Twitter. I tried Twitter. I didn't like it. Well, let's try it again, Kareem. You're a man who needs to try and try and try. You're a man with a wonderful mind and vast vision. And you say to yourself, I can and I will. This is the moment, and I am the one. And that goes for the lot of you. All right? Try again. There used to be a saying, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Robert the Bruce and the Spider, when he was going to fight the English at the Battle of Bannockburn, was it? Jamie S., have you ever met Tiger Tim? Yes, I used to work with Tim. Lovely, lovely guy. I worked with Tim at Radio Clyde. And when I went back, he was the nicest man. Nicest. He is the nicest man. And Tim came over and he said to me, he hadn't been keeping very well, as you'll know, but he came over to me and he said, do you remember me? And I said, what a humble moment that was for me. I said, Tim, stop. I said, it's more the other way. Thank you for recognizing me. Lovely, lovely guy. Just a privilege to work with him and know him. I've got rhubarb in the fridge. Well, don't talk it. Just talking rhubarb, remember that. I've got rhubarb in the fridge. I'm going to stew it on some fresh orange when Scottie finishes. Now, the fresh orange, is that to sweeten it? Is that to take the sharpness away? Do you not remember the guy looking over the wall of the institution and he saw a guy clearing up all the horse manure from the street? And he said, Mister, what are you doing? And he said, I'm clearing up horse manure. I know, I see that. What are you going to do with it? He says, I'm going to put it on my rhubarb. He said, you should come here because we always have custard with ours. A wee merry jape, an old Scottish jape for you. So there we are. So the rhubarb garden, just to stewed rhubarb and custard. What about stewed apple and custard? Now, lockdown food, guys. Have you been making nice food during the lockdown? Or have you been just eating a lot of nonsense and you look like the side of a hoose? Comfort break for Scottie McClue. Right, there we go. Wonderful. So do tell. Yes, the rhubarb in the fridge. Now, so I can see the Twitter stats. Let me just check again. And if you go onto Twitter, you'll see that tweet. 360. Oh, 360 already. It's just going up. Yeah, McClue's on. Jerry Nichol. Read President Trump. The people elected him and his followers just love him. No just like or he's good, but love their president and his family, so he can't do anything wrong. Jerry Nichol, absolutely. That's what I say. You know, he's a remarkable man, and we respect the office of President of the United States. Having said that, I don't want America to asset strip the UK. So there we go. That's why I think we should have stayed in Europe. We're part of the biggest trading bloc in the world. Most effective. When people go, WTO rules, we had WTO through the EU. Fantastic. I mean, that gave us massive clout. And along with our dear friends and allies, Germany, we controlled 30% of 510 million people and 28 countries. And if we leave through this Brexit thing, gone, nothing. We are nobody. So there we are. And remember, we begged to join the EU and were rebuffed. It wasn't the EU then, it was the Common Market. And so the EEC and then the EC and the Common Market versus the Single Market. But it's an interesting one. However, we don't go into that too much because I am, as you all well know, apolitical. So there we are. So I have a view on everything. I can see everybody's point of view. How are we doing for time? Oh my goodness me, we're just about out of time. Have you enjoyed this evening's live stream? Do tell. Spill, spill, spill. Will you come back and join us? Catherine Raven, I've been cooking from scratch with the lockdown, and you just gave me an idea for peaches. I'm a peach. I've been told I'm a peach. The head of ITV, somebody phoned them and said, this guy McClue, he's worked for you. Yes. What's he like? He said, he's an absolute peach to work with. An absolute peach. And he said to me, he said, Scotty, I don't know anybody who doesn't like you. How's that for a recommendation? Very senior person in ITV. I don't know anybody that doesn't like you. He's an absolute peach to work with. People can have a word and you just don't realise it. You don't know. Big difference between the Common Market and the EU. Of course there are, Gordon Robertson, but we were rebuffed. And you've got to look at your own security. You're a cheeky peach, says Catherine. So what's she saying? I bought a little peach crumble and custard. Tomorrow, I think yes. I've never ate better. No ready meals. Good for you, Catherine. Can everybody else say that, guys? No ready meals. Catherine says, it's been fabulous, Scotty. Good, because I'm just asking, have you enjoyed? Shall we carry on with our podcasting? Scotty, I'll say good night. I've enjoyed tonight. Thank you for your time again. Have a good day tomorrow. And we'll have a wee chit-chat tomorrow. Dinky-Doo. Kareem Zakaria, you're very, very welcome. Thank you for joining us. It is I who is privileged, my dear fellow. And we'll hopefully see you tomorrow. Dinky-Doo. Guys, more lights, please. Jamie Est, you've just given me 79 pence, you lovely person. Naughty boy. Look after your pennies. For goodness sake. Good night, Catherine and Gordon, says Kareem. Good night, Kareem. Take great care of your dear self. Stay fabulous, I say. Night, Kareem. Scotty, it's news time. Enjoy tonight. See you tomorrow. See you, Jerry. Dinky-Doo. And that's it. We are out of time. I'll sing you the goodbye song. Are we ready? Goodbye, everybody, goodbye. Take care, everybody, as you go. Goodbye, everybody, auf Wiedersehen, au revoir, and a cheerio. Fantastic. Good night, Kareem and everybody. Bye, Scotty. Take care. John G., good night to the nation. Good night, John. Dinky-Doo. And I'll play you out. I'll play you the goodbye song as we go out tonight. A proper farewell, I say. Right. Dinky-Doo, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Share and share and share and tell everybody about it. Tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10 about Scottie McClue podcasting live streaming on YouTube just for you. This is the big one. Follow me on Twitter at Scottie McClue. Follow me on TikTok at Scottie McClue. Follow me on Facebook. And that's a big one, but you'll see that. Get your goodbye song recorded, get it the top 40. So Catherine says, Gordon and John G, Kareem, guys and girls, have a beautiful night. Bye, Catherine. Bye, everybody. Good night, Dinky-Doo. God bless. May your God go with you, whoever that God is. So there you are. There's only one true living God, and it represents all of us. Absolutely. Remember that. It's fantastic. And I'll join you tomorrow at 8 o'clock sharp, God willing, weather permitting. Be there or be square. Until then, this is Scottie McClue saying to every one of you, stay fabulous, stay beautiful, stay safe, stay home. Dinky-Doo. Ta-ra, lads.